Hey everyone, hope you guys are having a great evening. You guys know I don't typically go live a lot on Sunday nights, but this was just too good of an opportunity, to incredible of a guest to deprive you guys of that. So that's what we're doing right here. Plus, time is a little bit of the essence, and you'll find out why here in a few moments. But basically, we have a guest tonight. As you know, we've been covering Diddy a lot, and his name is Dwight Gilmore, but he goes by his pen name is Relentless Aaron. So we're going to call him Relentless. And he was on the hip hop scene in New York back in the 90s and had run-ins with Puffy, now Diddy, including, and he's going to share his story, Diddy trying to end his life and him surviving that. So he wants to share his story now that Diddy is in jail. You know, it's a lot easier to share these stories and get it out there. So for everybody who's watching it, we are streaming right now on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The best experience is probably going to be, at least for the TikTokers, probably on YouTube. If you want to jump over there, if you do, it is the link in my bio will take you right there, but totally up to you. Regardless, wherever you are watching this, if this is your first time here, whether it is YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, do me a massive solid. Hit that follow button, hit that subscribe. That's how we do this, man. It's something free that you can do, helps grow the channel. And if you are on TikTok and you're planning on staying there, you totally can. Make sure to tap that screen. Let's get those likes out there. See if we're at 40,000. Let's see if we can get to 100K before the end of that live. Anyways, without further ado, let me bring Aaron on here. And here we go. Hey, how you doing, man?
Hey, can you hear me well?
I can hear you perfect.
Awesome. I'm not sure if people can you hear both of us on? Can they also hear both of us on TikTok?
Yeah, they can hear. So they were saying we were talking over each other a moment ago. So yeah, because I was talking to you, or so yeah, you're good. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm gonna just let you introduce yourself, who you are. Definitely talk about your books. The one that you wrote about, you know, the night that he tried to kill you, and then we'll just get into it.
Awesome. So yes, my given name is DeWitt Gilmore. I'm originally from Mount Vernon, New York. I have been in the entertainment industry since I was 18, 19 years old. At 19, I hired someone you guys know as Andre Harrell to perform for me on numerous occasions, concerts, parties, things of that nature. He was part of a group called Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And there was a big concert that I had that me and Russell Simmons were partnered on. And I found Russell simply by going to the back of these record albums that they'd have for the artists. And it brought me to Rush Productions, which was downtown New York City. I'm from Westchester County, Mount Vernon, and I go down, and basically Russell's office was no bigger than a little closet, you know, and basically Russell sold me the groups. So Russell sold me the groups like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Run DMC, and then I had to go to some other sellers to get like the Fat Boys and the Force MDs. But basically I put together a big concert in Mount Vernon at age 19 years old. I'm 59 now. This is very telling, right? And so that was my sort of entry into the game. By the way, in the audience were people like Puffy, who you know as Diddy, and people like Al B. Shore. In fact, that show, which kind of broke me into the game, Eddie F., who you might know as the DJ for Heavy D and the Boys, was my DJ. So before Heavy D and the Boys ever came about, this is who I was, what I was doing. And I was just doing live shows, live concerts. And that ran its course before violence started to come into the atmosphere of shows. And so I made a pivot. I never had any violence, but I made a pivot knowing, having a sixth sense, that I decided to go digital. So what that meant is that I started a public access show called the Westchester Talent Competition. And we would have local talent to perform on stage. And I would have celebrity judges to come judge these performers. And the performers would sell tickets to their families. And this is the way that we would fill the venue every week for years. And so that ran its course until I changed the name to Superstar USA. and Superstar USA was the next level of Westchester Talent Competition. And what we would do is I would have real major names that have already established themselves to come and sit with me on my show called Superstar USA. So if you go to my website or my actually my Facebook page, Relentless Aaron, you'll see photos with me sitting down with Nancy Wilson and Shaka Khan and Brandy and Joe and Brian McKnight. I mean, just so many names. There's too many names to mention. But the point is, and even Andre Harrell, yes, you'll see so many names. But I've been in this game for a long time, and that's and so until I got to monetize. And how I monetized was with my magazine called The Superstar. And The Superstar was a magazine that we gave out free, and we would distribute it to beauty salons and barbershops and restaurants and the like in and around the New York City tri-state area. So I had the TV show on public access, which I would make copies of, and I would duplicate these 3/4-inch tapes, right? And I would deliver them to different stations around the tri-state area. So hence I was able to grow my audience to 2 million people per week, 2 million households. Just because you're in 2 million households doesn't mean 2 million people are watching. But the point is that this was a device that I set up, a platform that I set up so that I could share the messaging or the music or the interviews or the live performances of entertainers. Of course, we didn't have streaming, and we didn't have, cell phones, and we didn't have all of what you're seeing right now. But this was me doing my thing then. So that's who I am and who I was, and how actually I'm so familiar with all this media because of being in the grassroots, in the from the bottom. It came from the bottom, and now I'm here. So yeah, that's me.
Well, I'll try to get this on the same. There we go.
Oh, at the same time, by the way, Justin,
Mhm.
while I'm doing all of this, one of the ways I was able to monetize is that my dad had a business. My dad had a delicatessen. He grew those delicatessens to 5 delicatessens in Mount Vernon, New York. So these are like convenience stores, not with gas stations, just convenience stores. He also had a couple of laundromats, and he had some rental income properties, and he had a very popular bar. And the bar evolved from Engelbert Humperdinck to Madonna to Snoop Dogg. It really, the music has changed. It is evolved. You could say it digressed or it transitioned. But either way you look at it, it turned into a strip club. And so the strip club became hugely popular. He eventually shut down all of his other businesses, whether it be the liquor store he had, or the delicatessens, or the laundromats, all of that stuff he shut down, and he focused on the strip club because that was making money hand over fist. And so my father brought me into that by a default. I was 14. I was kind of whimsical, wayward 14-year-old nosing around like, ooh, what's going on in there? Eventually I got in the club, and I became, his helper. And eventually I became more than his helper. I was managing the business and even booking stars to come and perform, and so on and so forth. So all of that was like my sort of night job and day job, so to speak, where I would get my allowance for $1,500 a week was my allowance, sometimes $2,000 depending on how we filled the club. And so that also helped me monetize my grind as it relates to like the public access show, the magazine, and just growing all of that. In hindsight, I'm talking about this because I don't talk about it much, but just wow, like for a young guy to be doing all of that, just like a road runner, just like not even a goal, not even a purpose in mind, just playing it by ear and just doing the best I can, being resourceful with what I knew and how and all like that. Yep.
Well, so when did you get into the, everything switched over? I know you had the show, you were looking at groups and stuff like that. When did you get into the music industry to begin with?
Really, I would say age 18, 19, because that's when I walked into Russell Simmons' office. And that was, all of this stuff this isn't like known stuff. So for instance, you look up some names today and you might see them because they were connected to some kind of music. They have credits on records. And so They're hooked up with ASCAP and BMI, and for me it was different. ASCAP would call me and ask me to come and cover their Grammy events. ASCAP would call me and ask me to cover these functions, but this isn't something that's like available on record to sort of research. You're only going to hear it here. So really 18, 19 years old, which is what, 30 years, 40. So it's 30 years ago. 30 is, I'm 59. So, and my math isn't that good as I'm trying to stream as well as you on my platforms. Go ahead. I'm listening, Justin.
No, you're good. You're good. So, so you're only 5 years older than Puff, basically. So you guys were coming up around the same time.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, when you met him, what, how that happened, what that was like, your impression of him, whatever you're comfortable sharing there.
Yeah. So, I was at, my friend owned a club in New York called Bentley's, and he owned quite a few clubs, but he lived close to me in the neighboring town, and and so I'm hanging out at his club every weekend, and I'm there because Eddie Murphy's in there, Mike Tyson's in there, like the biggest stars ever. I remember buying Evander Holyfield a drink before anybody knew him. This was my life. I was like the club rat or the club mayor, however you put it. And this club, Bentley's, was just an attraction in New York City, right in the middle of town. And so I'm at the bar talking to Andre Harrell. By that time, I had hired him a dozen times to perform for me. And I've also bought radio time from him because he used to sell radio time in the daytime. Andre Harrell is on record. So you can find him by looking up Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That was his rap group, right? And then, of course, he went on to be the president of Uptown Records, who, of course, hired the Diddler, okay? And so I'm at the bar with Andre, and we're having drinks and talking. Very busy club, music, and Puffy walks up, and Andre says, hey, I want to introduce you to my intern. So for me, my mindset is like, I am a player in the game of music and entertainment. Andre has grown up to become a player in the game of music and entertainment, because again, I was in there hiring him, right, for years. And then now Puffy comes into the game and he's introducing me to Puffy. What was my impression of him? Just a mover and a shaker. He's from Mount Vernon. We have a in Mount Vernon we have a nickname. It's Money Earning Mount Vernon. So we come from hustle. Denzel Washington's from Mount Vernon. Pete Rock and Pete Rock is from Mount Vernon. And there's a whole lot of others. But Mount Vernon is just known for hustling. Like we go get money. And so my dad, by the way, my dad grew those stores with one leg.
Very impressive. And real quick, because I know I've seen people asking some questions here, so I just
okay.
No, before we go further, I'll just kind of tell them, and you can jump in.
Mm-hmm.
So people are asking, is talking going to hurt, your case? And here's what I will say based on my experience. His attorney is Tony Busby. That's who his attorney is. And if you don't know who Tony Busby is at this moment, he's the one who's been filing the bulk of these suits. He's the one who did the press conference. He's the one, he filed the 7 last Monday. And tomorrow, I guarantee you, we will probably see more of those lawsuits drop. Now, most of those suits, when they're coming out as John and Jane Does. So I've spoken to Relentless about this, and I said, is this for your suit? Like, are you coming out as a John Doe? Or are you going to use your name? He's like, no, I'm going to use my name. So here's the thing. I don't know. His lawyer's not told him to speak or not speak at this point in time. Tony's not said that. But what I can say based on the ones that I've covered, I don't think it would make a difference because it's a civil case. There's not another celebrity in this case. It's just going to be Diddy. And as soon as it's filed, you guys have seen how this goes. The record, it becomes public record, and the news stations have copies of all of it. So once it's filed, it's still the same discussion. You guys are just getting it before it's filed, which we don't remember. They have 292 cases as of the 2020 special. So we don't know how many that's up to. So they're doing, a handful every week, dropping them on Monday. So his is probably going to be in the earlier batches, but we just don't know yet. So just to kind of let you guys know a little bit of backstory on that. Now, that being said, so you had met Diddy at that, poor Puffy at that time. He was he was an intern, right, with Andre, and then kind of I don't want to you tell it so much better than I possibly could. So if you don't want mind, share kind of what happened next to where, any other dealings you had with him, and then where the kind of, which it was so based on what you've told me and on his part, it's so dumb to get angry about what he got angry about, in my opinion. But share that with them.
Yeah. So, well, first of all, Puffy and I grew a relationship just by having conversations and meeting up. And after Andre introduced us, and he was interested in the come up. He was interested in getting in the business more. He was an intern at the time. His first mover advantage was that he was an entertainer. He was dancing for Father MC, right? And so now he's become a major sort of implant at the record company. And so now you got to meet and collaborate with other artists on an artist basis, right? And so what that did is it enabled him to be resourceful. And how he was resourceful is he would throw these parties, okay? And so he would throw parties, and he would put what they call special invited guests on the card, on the invitation, which is these 4x6 cards. And that is the hustle. Like, everybody knows that was a hustle. When you put special invited guests, that means they may come, they may not come. If they don't come, it's not my business. You paid your money. That's what it is. So because he had the in, so to speak, with these artists, he went ahead and he did that. And whereas other people like myself, promoters, we would actually have to pay a deposit for an artist to be able to even use their name on a on a flyer to promote an event. So that's pretty much the relationship. We started doing parties together. Then I said, Puff, why don't we do a basketball game? I have relationships with the radio station, which was Kiss FM at the time, and so he liked the idea, and so I says, I'll tell you what, I'll let you play. This is a celebrity thing. So the Kiss Cards was the name of the team for Kiss FM. By the way, Kiss FM was a major radio station in New York that Wendy Williams was a host on, and a part of, a radio job. But my relationship with Kiss FM was not as an entertainer. It was I bought radio time for them, for my parties, for my concerts. And then also my friend that I mentioned with the clubs, he was even way bigger than me. He had major clubs in New York City that he owned, and he bought major radio time. And I'll tell you why all of that is relevant. All of that is relevant is because Steve ushered me into the business. He ushered me into the business. He's let me have the run of his club behind the scenes in the office, meeting all these entertainers, all these things. I was able to book artists at Bentley's the club, and I was able to, they were streaming live on the radio. So I had that sort of, I was in that ecosystem that enabled me access to these platforms. And so Kiss FM says, hey, yes, we'll do a basketball game with you. And so their Kiss Cards is the name of their team. And they were going to play against my team. And my team was put together with some players from Mount Vernon. I'm not sure if you're familiar, but there was like there's some NBA players, Gus and Ray Williams. And that there's like a little clique of basketball players that I reached out to from Mount Vernon, and I asked them to play on my team. And then I wanted Puffy to serve as a player on my team as well. So that was going to be his thing. He was just, but he was going to promote it at the same time he was going to play on the team. Whether he did good or not, or he could play, that's neither here nor there. The point is that that's the way it was set up. But unbeknownst to me, Puffy went behind my back and he set up another basketball game that was set up for the day after my basketball game. He didn't say anything to me. He was just very hush hush about it. And I really didn't learn about it until the night of my basketball game. The night he didn't show up, which I had to kind of stand in for him, right, and play on my team that I set up against the Kiss Cars. And then when I leave my basketball game, by the way, mine was set in New Rochelle. I had this New Rochelle High School gymnasium. He set his up for CCNY. And why that's substantial is if you all know your Diddy background, right, you know that there was a big tragedy in New York where CCNY, there were like 9 people were trampled, and unalived. That's the word, right? And actually, it was 10 because one of them was pregnant. And so that was the game that I planned with him, if you understand what I'm saying. But what he did is he kind of took the energy. He had a relationship with Wendy Williams. Hey, I'm not even mad about how he did it, but at the end of the day, it was side-handed, it was underhanded, it was just snatching my idea. And hey, karma, right? I'm not even mad at him that he did it. I'm so glad I wasn't a part of it, right? But I was a little bit in my feelings, to be honest with you, because here you took my idea, you had all these artists, you could have made both of our basketball games successful just by, being honest and all right. But hey, you don't owe me anything. You know what I mean? He didn't owe me anything. So that said, what happened was that night after the Stampede, everybody was looking for him. The news, the police, nobody knew who Puffy was. He was doing those parties that he was doing before then were pretty much underground. Nobody really knew about them. They weren't advertised large, anything like that. It was just all by word of mouth. To fill a club, 1,000 people, 1,500 people, word of mouth could do that if you're a celebrity, if you're throwing every celebrity's name on the flyer. For me, I got to buy radio time and I got to sweat peanuts to hopefully get the club filled. But for him, it was a little different. He had first mover advantage, like I said, those types of resources. And so that night, I'm at my dad's strip club, and I'm in like the VIP area, and I'm ranting, I'm drinking, I'm carrying on, like, talking shit about him. And not for nothing, but one of the people in the VIP area, he was like a writer for either the Post or the Daily News. And the next morning, I get a wake up call from Curtis and Lisa Sliwa. They had a radio show in New York called Curtis and Lisa in the Morning, and they called on ABC Radio, which is a huge broadcast, guys, huge, millions of listeners. And so how they got my phone number, I'll never know. But they called me, woke me up, and asked me, "Who's this?" And Curtis is very Guardian Angels. Curtis Sliwa started the Guardian Angels, like a big deal in New York. They would stand in when there's big disruptions in New York. They would be their red berets, and they're really about protecting the streets. That's what they were, streets, right? Street soldiers, right? But they called me, "Who's this Puffy guy? Tell us about promotions. Tell us about how this happened, how all these people got caught in a stampede." And so I gave them my 2 cents as a talking head, right? And so that turned into something way more. After I spoke to Curtis, I started getting calls from Good Morning America and some other radio and TV people. But Richard Bay was sort of the Maury Povich of the day. He had a show called 9 Broadcast Plaza, and he sent a limousine. First of all, they call you, they vet you out. "Hey, we'd like to have you on our show this morning." So that morning, after I go on with Curtis and Lisa, I'm on the Richard Bay show, but I'm sitting there on a dais, the stage, with William Kunstler, who's a legendary attorney, guys. I'm on the stage with Dougie Fresh, who's an entertainer. He might have been on the flyer, who knows? But he's definitely an entertainer, knowledgeable in hip hop. He's worthy of being on that stage. He knows, he knows the game of, entertainment. So he might have been able to speak for the entertainment quadrant of this conversation. From William Kunstler, who's going to talk about the legal stuff, and then they had Sister Soldier, right, who's the radical, not for nothing, but that's how they looked at her. And then also they had the families of the people that passed, right? And then they had me, and I was speaking, I guess, on behalf of promoters. So this is how, when on hindsight and how you put a show together, this is how the showrunners saw it, and this is how they set the platform up. So out of nowhere, I'm on television, explaining, just like I'm talking to you, Justin. I was explaining what might have happened, could have worked better, could have, if, what if, And so that's it. I didn't attack Puffy. I didn't speak poorly about him. I didn't have a vendetta against him, even though I had a little grudge on my shoulder. Nothing like that. But I will tell you this: the person that probably was more relevant in that room besides me was Misa. Misa is Puffy's first baby mama, and she wasn't on stage. She was in the audience with her little band of girls. And so when I got off stage, she got in my face like, "What are you doing out here?" I don't remember anything she said. All I remember is yak, 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 right? So of course she's a cheerleader for Puffy, right? Having his kid in the pool in the Biggie video, you tell two friends and I'll tell two friends, and all of that. And so, and not for nothing, but Misa lived on the same block as me in New Rochelle. Again, I'm from Mount Vernon, but I had moved to New Rochelle, and she lived on North Avenue, and I lived on North Avenue. So it's a small world, So that's really where it grew in anger from his point of view. Puffy being angry at me for being like on stage. I probably, to him, I didn't belong on stage. Like, why are you on stage talking about something that impacted my life? Hey, it is what it is. That's what happened. So I guess you want to you're the interviewer. You go ahead, Justin, do your thing.
No, I mean, you're great at storytelling. So so you had the thing happen, the college game, you had all that happen. So I guess if you want to fast forward to the night that he pulled up on you, the first time.
Yes. So I had the magazine, and every week we would go driving. When I say we, it was me, Lance was my security, and I had an intern with me, and we're driving, going to restaurants and beauty salons and barbershops. I had a magazine. This is not, nobody's seen these, by the way, but this is my magazine. It's called The Superstar, and that's Isaac Hayes, and that's George Foreman, and these are just magazines that I had. And what I would do is it would be flip sided. So on one side, oh, I see, you see it. On one side it would be one artist, and then on the other side it would be the other. So I was able to have two front covers, if that makes sense. And so this is a magazine that I use as a device to sell advertisement. So in all of these magazines, there's advertisement, Pizza Hut and beauty salons and barbershops, so on and so forth. So every week, my task was to go and collect money from people that advertised in my magazine, from the smaller businesses. The bigger businesses would cut checks. Smaller businesses, I had to go pick up money. And so the way it looks in New York is my routine would be to go from Westchester through the Bronx, through Harlem, and then downtown Manhattan. And so in Harlem, a guy named Gene, who was a big part of the music industry, big part of a lot of music, a lot of entertainers, he was set up with Suge Knight. And they were trying to set up what they call Death Row East, which was an East Coast version of what they were doing on with Death Row. And so he had a T-shirt that said Death Row East on it. And I think I sent you a picture of what that looked like. There's a girl, she's got a T-shirt on, and that's the exact T-shirt that that he was giving out. He basically was giving out these T-shirts, and so I threw it on. Just, he's like, "Well, did you support me? Because I know you're getting around and you're doing your thing." Maybe I didn't send it.
You did. I'm gonna get it pulled up right now. I'm working on it.
No,
No, you're good.
No, say again.
I said you did. I'm just working. I forgot to add that to the list. So I'll get it up while you're talking.
So so I threw a T-shirt on. I threw that very T-shirt on, and I didn't think anything of it. I wasn't part of the East Coast West Coast issues. I did my own thing in the tri-state New York area. For me, it wasn't like I am wearing the blue going into the red area or wearing the red bandana going into the blue. It wasn't none of that. You understand? And so essentially, I threw the T-shirt on just like as if I threw it over this. And we went about our business. Lance, myself, and Rico, who was my intern. And we ended up at a club called Downtime, which is downtown New York City. And Red Alert was playing that night. He had a very busy crowd every week. And so I went down. We passed this long line to go in. Club promoters basically give each other, juice card. So you get to walk in front of the crowd, right? To go in whenever you see lines. So they let me in, and I'm in there for an hour promoting the magazine, saying hi to people, walking through the club. When we left the club an hour later, the street was mobbed. When I say mobbed, I mean people standing in the street. There's cars, there's music. Nobody else is getting in the club because it's all sold out, and there's a fire marshal at the door. And so they're not letting anybody else in the club. And so it didn't matter to us. We were finished our day. And yeah, that was the shirt I was wearing. It didn't matter to us. We had finished our day, and we were heading home. So we go across the street was where I was parked. I get in the truck. I'm driving in a Suzu Trooper Rodeo. Is it Rodeo? And or a Trooper is different than a Rodeo. Rodeo, and then there's a Trooper. I had the Trooper stick shift. And Lance gets in the passenger seat, and Rico's in the back. And lo and behold, Puffy pulls up. Now, he's not Diddy yet. He's still Puffy. But this, folks, is in 1996. The tragedy at CCNY took place in 1991. So 5 years had passed. And we had some other run-ins during that time. When I say run-ins, not aggressive, not nothing. Just like we saw each other. He saw me once at Madison Square Garden, at a back behind the scenes. Is one said he saw me at a Def Comedy Jam, and there was another time in the streets. So the point is like actually at the Palladium, the night that Biggie and Tupac did their live performance, very iconic piece, Party and Bullshit, that they did, and Puffy was there. That was the first time and the only time I got to meet Tupac. And me and Puff just we sort of squared up and shook hands and let bygones be bygones. So there's a few times that we've seen each other since the Richard Bey show, and what I'm about to share with you, which is the night I came out of that club. So to take you back, I'm in the truck. I'm in behind the driver's seat. Lance is in the passenger seat, and Rico's in the back. And lo and behold, Puff pulls up. He's in the passenger seat of a sports car, and Wolf is driving the car. And so he's basically taking orders from Puffy, because Puffy told him to pull up to my window to Rico. Rico's behind me. He says, "What's up?" to Rico. Calmly, just says, "What's up?" to Rico. And Rico's like, "What's up?" And then he pulls up to my window and he sees Lance. He kind of peeks his head around. I guess now I know what they were doing. They were casing me, trying to figure out what kind of danger I was, or what kind of threat I was. And so he looks around me and he says, "What's up?" to Lance, and Lance gives him like the head nod, "What's up?" And then to me he goes, "What's up, bitch?" So now I want to be clear. He's in his car in the passenger seat, and they pull up to my vehicle, and I'm in the driver's seat. So he's literally about 2 feet from me saying, "What's up, bitch?" And I immediately went into Kumbaya, and I says, dude. I'm minding my business. You mind your business. I don't want nothing to do with like this East Coast, West Coast thing that he was doing, by the way, that was very popular beef between him and Suge Knight. I didn't want anything to do with it. I'm like, yo, bro, like just keep your shit over there. I'm mind my business and go about our way. Nah, you a bitch. That was his response. So
Quick question for you. So
yeah,
were you, because I was trying to find the picture, were you wearing the Death Row shirt that night?
yes.
So that's probably what sparked it then.
That's what triggered it. Now, remember, I told you earlier that night, Gene was giving out the T-shirt, if you remember what I said. And remember, I said I threw it on over what I was wearing.
Yeah.
And then I went about my business with collecting money and going into clubs and stuff. So, yes, I did have that on that night. But no, I never thought it would trigger anybody because again, I wasn't a part of that. Do you understand? I'm a regional business owner, regional in entertainment. I wasn't global like that. I didn't know anybody from the West Coast like that, entertainment wise. I mean, even on my show, they would try to, that when they call you to promote you to get people on your show, they knew that like I was accommodating people that came into town. So you can't just have a rapper from the West Coast and think you're going to just send me a video and I'm going to put it on my show unless it's something really like powerful. But you'd have to send the artist. And so my point is like I didn't really have affiliations like that on the West Coast. So
yeah. But with him, I think depending on, I don't know what month, and you might not even remember. Do you remember what month this happened, that this went down? Right. If you don't, that's like, it's been a long time.
It's been a long time, bro.
Well, here's the thing. Hit 'Em Up came out June 6th of 96.
Oh.
So if it was after that, he was on edge, because I know that we've seen enough things that song just scared the absolute crap out of him when Pac came at him that hard. So I'm wondering if that's
for sure the environment, which is what you're getting at, the environment was hot. It wasn't hot for me though. I was very focused on my magazine, on my TV show, on my grind and my hustle. I wasn't into that other stuff. But yes, the atmosphere was super hot. And so yes, the shirt, not only the shirt, but him knowing me, right? And him, what'd you say? Oh, okay. I can't hear you. I still can't hear you.
I was letting the TikTok.
Now I can hear you. Oh,
I was letting the TikTok people know that if they wanted to see the shirt, they could jump over and see it.
Oh,
sorry.
I see. No problem. So yes, the trigger was obviously there. Him knowing me, him seeing me as like somebody he would need to surpass, or somebody that he was surpassing. Not to say he woke up every day and say, I'm going to surpass Gilmore. Not that. But the point is, remember, I met him when he was an intern. And that was 5 years before. And he was growing exponentially in entertainment. And now he had his own record company, because after CCNY, Uptown had to fire him just to get rid of all of the flack. But they also helped him start Bad Boy, right? And so he was growing Bad Boy. So this was at its infancy. Bad Boy growing the new artists, whether it was Biggie or Mary or the Locks or Little Kim and Junior Mafia, all of that stuff. Anybody who was on Bad Boy, that was the environment. And so that I just want to give you an idea of what the environment was. It was hot. It was hot. The Bad Boy artists, the Hit 'Em Up, the Pac versus Big stuff. All of that was out there. But for me, again, I was super focused and it really didn't matter to me. So yes, I was wearing that shirt. I do believe on hindsight that shirt was a trigger for him. But not just that. I had been on that show, the Richard Bey show, speaking about the CCNY tragedy. Number two, we were business partners on the basketball game, which like, that whole karma thing and him stealing the game from me. And number three, I was senior to him. when I say senior, like you say, I'm 5 years older, but I was in the game before him. So the game of entertainment. So I don't know why he would see all that as a threat. My focus wasn't on him. Clearly, his focus was on me. Otherwise, why would you pull up on me that night? Otherwise, why am I a bitch? You know, whatever's clever. Like, you know, it's just like, dude. So anyway, they let me out of the parking space. Okay, they backed the car up, and I wiggle out of the parking space, and I pull forward. And at some point, Lance is like, you know, he's behind you. So in other words, he doesn't want the parking space that we pulled out of. He's literally following me now. All right, I'm feeling safe. I'm in my my trooper. I got my guys with me. What's he gonna do? So we turn the corner after the red light, and we're at Herald Square, New York City. So you all know Herald Square as where the Macy's Day Parade takes place every year. I sent you the book. Do you know there's a diagram in the book? There's a diagram in the book that shows this position of how my car was set up. If you could say, do your little commercial break so I can pull it up, because it's very relevant. Justin.
Which image is it? This image right here?
Nope.
That you're wanting?
Nope. Hold on.
I didn't get the copy of the book. I didn't get the emails from you, so I don't know if they went to the wrong place.
No, okay, hold on a minute.
But if you send it to me, if you send me what you want, I can get it pulled up.
Right now. Hold on a minute. Yep. Yep. There we go. This is a good time for your commercial break.
Well, I don't. YouTube rolls
no
the commercials, but we're good now. It's all good.
Okay.
You know,
I found the image. Hold on, I found the image, and now I'm gonna send it to you quickly.
You can text. I have access to the text.
Yep. Right. Screenshot and Justin and there you go. Let's see if you got that.
All right, it hadn't come through yet, but give it a.
Oh, okay. There you go. Technology today. If I was 80, you know, there's no way I'd know all this stuff.
All right, I got it. Well, while you're talking, I'll work on getting it pulled up. Yeah, okay. Give me a minute to get it pulled up while you chat.
Yeah, no doubt. So so I'm not really feeling threatened by him following me. Number one, Lance, who generally carries a pistol with him, he is licensed to carry, and I had Rico with me. Not that Rico was going to fight for me or anything like that if a fight was going to happen, but I was just feeling secure because Lance always looked out for me. Whenever we went to events, he'd be standing by my side or behind me. You know, I'm an endangered species. Clearly, you're seeing why. Like, why would this guy pull up on me? Why? Yeah, that's it right there. So you're literally looking at a diagram, and if you zoom in, you're actually going to see the cars. You're going to see the cars. The bottom part of that where it says 34th Street.
I don't have the capability to zoom in. I could try separately. I might be able to do it from here and then upload it.
Well, let me see something. Maybe I'll be able to do something. Hold on a minute. Nobody's ever seen this, so this is very interesting here. Okay. Let me share this. I wonder. Oh, do I have the ability to share screen as well? Yeah. Yeah.
I don't. If it shows that you do, you can. I have no idea of what it's like for you.
Let's see.
I can take this down then. So if you want.
No, you're good. I wonder if I'm able to share screen.
If not, I can definitely. I'm zooming it in right now, so I can get it.
Oh, okay. Oh, you are. Oh, great. Then you're getting it.
Let me see if I can do it.
Sorry, I wasn't more prepared. I just
No, you're
on the,
man.
yeah.
You're good. You are
But
good. Hold on.
So 34th Street.
I think I got you. Hold on.
You got it.
Bam.
Perfect. So 34th Street. That purple vehicle is my Isuzu Trooper. His sports car is the white car. And those other cars behind are his followers, his wolves, who I didn't even know existed. I didn't know that it was more than just him in that one car with Wolf. They were relaxed. They had the top down. It was a convertible. It was it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't feel a threat. But what Wolf did was he pulled the vehicle over and forced me to the island there. And so it was about to be on. And Lance got out of the car and I got out of the car. And bro, when I got out of the car, I guess it was a moment of it was about to be a standoff of some kind. But before I even got to the point where we're near each other, shots rang out, and I realized that he wasn't alone. Like all of these thugs that had been following him had either gotten out of the car. They all got out of the car. It was just about to be a beatdown. It was like his little army out of nowhere. Shots and his. I'm facing a small army, but it's not just me. It's also Lance. Lance had gotten out of the vehicle, so it's me and Lance like facing this little small army. But Lance quickly yells, "Gun, gun!" And at the same time, literally the same time, the shots popped off, and that's when I believe that God teleported me. I'm just like I don't know how y'all feel about God, and I feel like God teleported me and put me back behind that steering wheel and put Lance back in the passenger seat. It wasn't like I pulled off and left Lance. Like we jumped the island and now it turned into a car chase. And so now I had these 5 cars chasing me down the one way. Now you can actually broaden the picture down Fifth Avenue. Fifth Avenue is actually crossing with 6th. 6th is the way you're supposed to go. That's the right of way. But I ended up going down Fifth Avenue against traffic. By the way, again, it's 1 in the morning, so it's not a whole lot of traffic. But I'm driving down the one way, and then I make a left turn, and I'm going down another street. I actually drove on the sidewalk. Like a lot is going on, man. It's scary because I mean I understand, if you're going to war and you're prepared to go to war, your state of mind is war. But for me, it wasn't wartime; it was peace. I was out there, taking care of business, running my business. I didn't pull up on him. I didn't confront him. I didn't expect any confrontation. I didn't even expect confrontation by wearing that shirt. But by the grace of God, I escaped the firing. I want to say I'm trying to go with TikTok rules and everything, but we took fire, and I also like what were they gonna do if they caught me? So just a blitz, which like you're supposed to surprise your enemy. I'm not your enemy, but okay, I get it. But he turned me into, his enemy that night. And honestly, I ran through a red light. I lost them. Almost got hit by an 18-wheeler coming through the right of way. And all I could feel at that moment was the energy, the anxiety, the frustration, the the angst. Just like we were angry, we were we we were it was on. I just wanted street justice. Do you know what I mean? I just wanted I wanted to retaliate. I didn't think about going to the police station, police reports, none of that. That was not even in my, you know,
And if I may
my,
interject for
yeah,
people listening who are young and don't remember what it was like, and look, and I'm saying this as a white dude, but like people who don't remember what it was like in the 90s for the black community, the police would not have probably been a help anyways. That's just kind of how it went back then, unfortunately. I mean, it's not much better now, but it was really bad back then. That's what Tupac and NWA and the Rodney King, I mean, that's what all that was about.
yeah. So, you know, just again, just facing all of that all of a sudden was really me being thrown into the lion's den, but with no weapons. I'm not a guy that carried, you know, I spent some time in the Marine Corps, and we played with M16s. You know, you had to be taught to take them apart and put it together back in a minute. You had to, you know, go to the, you know, learn, do the regular rifle range stuff. But at the end of the day, even in the streets, I wasn't the guy that carried. I didn't feel that need. I just didn't feel the need. I was the guy that was on living on a wing and a prayer, going out there, just being resourceful, doing what I can with what I had. And so for this to happen to me, yeah, okay, you want to call me a bitch or a possum or whatever you want to call me, okay. And like, you know, and you know, so I'm not a thug like you. And so like why that happened, I don't know. But at the end of the day, it did trigger me. I never got to act on that street justice. What I inevitably ended up happening was I had done some nonsense with checks, and I ended up doing a blowing trial and doing 7 years in prison. And while I was doing that 7 years, I was shouldering all of what happened that night, as well as other things in my life. And that's where I wrote 30 books, and 30, not dirty, 30 books. and I decided just to change my life from the day I got locked up. And that's what I did. I just wrote all of these books. And when I came out, you know, I got a major book deal, a couple major book deals. One was with St. Martin's Press. I got a 14 book deal with them. Before they even got a manuscript, I got a big check. Like my first check was 40 grand. My second check was like 75 grand. And then I got another deal with 50 Cent. I'm one of the original G Unit authors. That was more money. And then I got film deals. Like everything was happening. So all of that stuff that happened in 96, and now it was 2003, that was behind me. I wasn't thinking about, you know, any of that. I had written a book while I was away called Derelict. It's actually the book that I sold to 50 Cent and G Unit. And it is the fictional side of what you're seeing here, the night Puff tried to kill me. And so that when I wrote that book, Derelict, it really was me, you know, getting that off my back, getting that off my shoulders. This is the book cover. You probably could look it up, guys, Derelict. But this is the book cover. This is how they do it in publishing. So this is the book Derelict, and basically I changed the names. I basically changed the names of the book, of the people in not the book, of the people in the book, the characters, the situations, so that it did not call up any kind of retaliation. I wasn't even on that trip when I came out of prison in 2003. I was on another mission, clearly, because to make all that money, to now be a globally known writer where other writers can't even get in the door. Like I didn't think about that. I didn't even look at life that way. I looked at what's the highest I can go. And it happened for me. And so that's basically the story. It's not, you know, people like look at it, you might look at it as car chase. I don't know who gave you that idea. Or, you know, this was my life on the line. This was not just my life on the line, but Lance's life on the line, you know, and not for nothing, but like we have lives. We have lives. I have the right to live in this, you know, in this world without being attacked, without being shot at, without being confronted, unless I'm asking for that, and I wasn't. So there was no reason for that to happen that night, and so that's why I wrote this book. I wrote this book and I dropped it in December, and the night Puff tried to cane me, and I did it because, like, I felt safe. To be honest with you, I felt safe. I felt like a lot of these people were already singing the same tune about him, whether it's his violence, whether it was things against women, all of these things. I already experienced a piece of that by that attack that night. So I knew who he was and what he was capable of. And so what inevitably happened all of these years with all of these people making all of these claims, I 100% believe. I would say, like, I'll give it 99%. I really believe these people, especially when they talk about guns and what happened at the recording studio in LA, and what happened at Macy's in the dressing room with Mark Echo clothing line versus his Sean John clothing line. And I 100% believe he hung somebody off of a balcony, and that he blew up a car, and all of these things. You saw what he did to Cassie on CNN. So for me, and then there's the Club New York situation. So, like, where Natanya is saying it was him that did it. It was, I like 100% believe these people, because I was in their shoes. I was in their shoes. And so I was early. I was early. Like, this literally could have obliterated me, where you didn't even, nobody would know me today. Nobody would be able to speak for me today. Like, they, you know, all these people that have passed away, they talk about say their name. Nobody would say my name, because there was nothing digital, no social media, no cameras, street cameras, no ring, nothing to capture like these moments. And this happened so fast, right? That on the street at 1 o'clock in the morning, no police around, no witnesses, except, of course, Lance was with me, and Rico, let me tell you something. Rico never got out of the truck, right? In fact, after the little car chase, it wasn't little, but after the car chase, we don't see Rico. He's on the back floor. We figured he got shot. He got hit because he's on the floor of the truck, and until he rose up. Like, this is what was going down that night, you know? So
and very, very likely back then too, like you said, they'd have left you there. Somebody had found you, and you'd have been a cold case.
They would have. Thank you. That part. And because we know how he is, and if you look at all of his actions through the years and what the claims are, the alleged, I say they're not alleged. I'm going to go on the line anytime. Like, that was me yelling at the courthouse on October 10th that your client's a predator, your client's a monster, he's never getting out of prison, I'm going to keep my foot on his neck. That was me on Inside Edition, on ABC, NBC, CBS, on, you know, CNN. That was me. That was me talking to Gloria Allred. That was me talking to Lisa Sliwa. That was me talking. That was me with my sign on Entertainment Tonight. I am going to be there because, like, nobody would be able to speak for me today had I succumbed to his violence or his random act of violence on that night. So, to all of the victims out there, I stand with you, you know, and even those victims that might not have it all right, because we all know that he put something in the oil and the drinks, and we know that. So I stand with the victims because it's traumatic. It's traumatic, from the 9-year-old to the 13-year-old to all these people, and then we have to deal with all of the pushback. Oh, why did you wait so long to come out and say? Look, for me, it's easy. Remember, I went away for 7 years. Then when I came out, it was kumbaya, and I was rebuilding my life. And here we are, right? This happened in '96, so you're like almost 30 years later, right? I've written books. The book Derelict came out in like 2004, so that wasn't far. That wasn't that wasn't long after. I actually was able to put that on bookstore shelves nationwide, and but writing this book, The Night Puff Tried to Cane Me, this enabled me to like unshoulder everything, give it all the detail. I've already become a veteran writer. I'm already vetted out. Like, I have a following. I matter in this world. So it made sense for me to tell the world my story and to lay it to rest.
Let me ask you a question. So obviously you can hear the emotion, that this is something that you've had inside you for a long time. And I'm sure that there's got to be some vindication with everything that's going on with him. When you first heard about the raids, the bi-coastal raids with Department of Homeland Security, and then his arrest several months later, what was going through your mind in both of those events?
Well, the first one, yes. The first one, yes. But the arrest was, I dropped to my knees and I was like, oh my God, there's a God. Because this guy is worse than Hannibal. This guy is worse than Dahmer. The idea that somebody would come to your party and maybe you paid them to perform some things or to dance for you, and you doused them with this oil that was laced just to get them to be under your submission. You're worse than Cosby, who's tipping the coffee, the cappuccino, who's bragging about it on Larry King. You're worse than Epstein, because you're doing this in mass. Like, you have mad money, mad liberty, and you have fame. So these people are coming in your doors and you're schmoozing them to come behind the other door. I mean, we all know the stories now. This is, in this lifetime, I never imagined that we'd have somebody such a monster like this living in plain sight. Like, everybody's cringing right now. The people, they don't want you to be talking to me, Justin. They don't want you to be talking to me. The mutual friend, remember, I'm from Mount Vernon, he's from Mount Vernon. The mutual friends that we have, they are so hush hush, waiting and praying on something to change. They're giving him an excuse for what happened to Cassie. Oh yeah. That happened with Cassie. However, she, they had a relationship. That happens. Yeah. So everybody else is lying. So all of these people are, and it's not just entertainers. It's producers. It's business owners. It's all of these people who had their look. Good Day, the Good Morning America had him turn their show into the Bad Boy one morning, where he performed live, and he had his group 112 and Busta Rhymes, and like, I get it. He was an entertainer, but he was living a double life. He was living a double life, like many of these guys that we've heard about. Boys behaving badly. That's so when I saw the arrest, bro, I dropped to my knees and I was just thanking God. I had already dropped the book in December of 2003. So I'm one of the first people that said, you know what? I'm telling it all. You know what I mean? And not for nothing, I just feel safe now. He's never getting out. I don't think he's ever getting out of prison. And by the grace of God, it's going to save not just other people, but his kids, his family, his kids. Look, he's already got his sons involved in some stuff. One son was involved with the shooting in LA. Again, I ain't saying allegedly nothing. I'm calling it what it is. Number two, you had the other son who's being brought up on charges or in civil charges about what happened on the boat. So you got both boys that are growing up underneath you, and we all know the apple don't fall far from the tree. The girls, I have nothing but love for them. Unfortunately, they are the collateral damage. The mother, she's complicit. She's the one that told the girl, oh, the one he graped. Oh, don't hurt my son. Don't say anything. Just take the money. So the mother was complicit, right? So it's like all of these people know the monster that he is, but they're all doing the Diddy dance because he's got money to make everybody happy. He's got infinite money because of these artists who verifiably are talented and gifted. They're with the wrong usher, the wrong person to usher them into the game of entertainment. I feel like if they didn't get ushered in by him, they would get ushered in by someone else. So for me, man, there's no better vindication for him to get arrested, for him to be locked up in. So now he's not in Supermax, right? He's in Semi-Max, which I understand because he's being resourceful. Like just like he was when he was an intern, he's being resourceful. He knows he can't make moves in a 4x8 cell. So he's got to be able to move, to talk to people, to leverage his relationships, his ability to negotiate, his talk game, his pimp game. He's got to be able to send money to other accounts inside of that prison to get everybody for it to be a Diddy environment. At some point, there's cell phones coming in. At some point, we all know. All you gotta do is look up the history of Brooklyn MDC. All you gotta do is look it up. Corrections officers arrested. They're saying it's the most horrific conditions. Like, I don't know how horrific it is. I feel like he's eating salmon, to be honest with you. I feel like he's eating salmon. So it is what it is. But I know you're never getting out of prison. I know that you did so much damage to people that even your best friends don't want to speak up on your behalf. I'm not talking about Stevie J. I'm not talking about Stevie J. Stevie J is all the way knee deep in this shit. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets arrested in the next, in the forthcoming weeks, because he was definitely a part of this game. We already know who Stevie J is because remember, I don't know if you know, Justin, Eve was his girlfriend at one point.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
A lot of people don't know this backstory. Stevie J, who's one of the Diddler's employees, best friends, you see him speaking out for him on camera, right? Saying none of that is true. But this is the guy who sold or exploited Eve by taking video in the bedroom and videotaping her and then putting it out to the public. So Eve, is actually seen on camera doing, whatever it is that you do behind closed doors for the public. And I'm sure Eve talked about it in her book, but this is who Stevie is. This is who Stevie J is. So, you just got to kind of use your savvy and put two and two together and realize why all these moving parts make sense. You can never put them together to show that it's not making sense. This is all the diddler at work. Sean Combs, Diddy, Puff Daddy, all these names that he has. This is him.
Well, and I definitely appreciate you sharing your story and feeling hopefully a little bit of vindication. I hope that, sharing this with other people, is a little for you to be heard for the first time on this in 30 years is a little healing for you.
Yeah. It feels great. I feel for these other victims, especially if they've been violated, especially when they were put under the, under duress. I'm speaking out for all of them. I may not be the best speaker. Like, my gift is writing. Okay. Although I've been trained to speak for a living, I'm still not like, I'm not like a rapper, with the gift of gab, that type of thing. But there's levels, but I at least do know how to tell this story because it lives in my head. It lives on my shoulders for many years. And I'm clear that I want to talk to people that are comforting and that leave me a safe space. And I don't mind doing the bigger platforms. That's no problem. I don't mind answering the hard questions because that's what I'm here to. I'm standing on my truth. Like this is my truth. I didn't I for the last it's 2024 since I came home in 2020 in 2003. For the last 20 years, sir, I've been building a business, a brand. Like I am a novelist. Like I have books out that people applaud, 5-star reviews in the Publishers Weekly and the Library Journal. And like there's people that praise me, from professors to news platforms. So I didn't need Diddy to go viral, if that makes sense. I didn't need Diddy to affirm my purpose in life. My purpose in life is here already. It just so happens that because of his actions, because of his bad boy behavior, that he's now easing back into my life. And I'm standing on it. I'm good with it. And it's important for me to reach other people because, Justin, you have an audience, right? Your audience is different than my audience. Like if you read The Tipping Point, you'll realize that they say everybody's audience is different, right? And so it's very important for me to reach those audiences on grassroots levels. And not for nothing, when you buy my book or when you support me, you're supporting me taking a flight to New York to stand at the courthouse, to have the big sign in the air, to get in their faces and say, and to stand on my truth. You're supporting me to be out there and like you're standing. It's me against Diddy, as far as I'm concerned. And when you support me, you're actually fueling me to fight this monster. And nobody else has a book. Nobody else has a book that's his victim, Justin. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. Nobody is standing out here saying, hey, hello, Chris Cuomo, hello, Stephen A. Smith, hello, Nancy Grace. Nobody else is doing that. I'm doing it because first of all, it's not a money thing for me. Remember, what's most important is for me to tell my story. Because why? For my legacy and because it feels good. Like you say, it feels good to get this off of my shoulders. The world has got to know my story. The world got to know who I am, because if I wasn't here, there'd be nobody to speak for me. For Lance, who was in the car with me that night, who supported me, who was with me to protect me, who was not packing that night. We were under fire. So, yeah. If you have any questions, Justin, or you said you had questions in the chat, I don't mind answering questions.
Yeah, the chat.
You said something about the lawyer. So Busby,
go ahead.
When Busby went on major press conference, and when I did my research on Busby, I realized that this guy, he's a former Marine, hoorah, Semper Fi. That was one thing, but number two, he's a legit attorney. And when he went on major press to talk about these victims and put his phone number out there, it was something different. It was like the U.S. attorney had gone on, saying, hey, if there's any victims, come forth. I didn't have his information, but I do now, and I have reached out to the U.S. attorney in New York. But now, when I saw that phone number, something about Busby said, yeah, I want to tell my story. I want to be credible. What do I have to do? And I did contact them, and they sent me the paperwork. I filled it out. I got on the phone with them. They interviewed me. They gave me the hard questions. Then they reached me back. Yes, we'd like to represent you. So yes, I am represented by Busby. And not for nothing, but he's busy. He's got 200 people that came before me and 13,000 calls. So they got to vet out all these people, right? And they have to do it orderly. So I get it. I'm not, But at the end of the day, I am not here. Even if there's some sort of recompense, if there's some sort of money at the end of, that's great. I mean, not for nothing. I'm not looking at becoming a millionaire off of Diddy. I have a lot of irons in the fire in my own life. But if there's something to come that I can share some of that money with some of the victims that have not been able to tell. Look, when I dropped that book, you should know. When I dropped that book in December, I got contacted by another woman named Angela. Angela used to work at Uptown, and Angela had hosted my TV show back in the day for just a couple of shows. And she contacted me. We've still been in contact on Facebook. And she said, by the way, I heard your story. And do you know he barricaded me in the office when I was at Uptown, and that he wanted what's between my legs, right? I don't know, I'm not being vulgar on here, but you get what I'm saying, right? He wanted the family jewels. And so he barricaded her in the office, however, momentarily. And she told him, in the universe of Uptown, by the way, she told him, like, if you don't let me out of here, I'm going to scream at the top of my lungs. And so, he's a person that uses his power, and to my understanding, abuses his power, whether it's against women, younger people, the parents of younger people. He's got influence, he's got money, and he's got like he tells everybody, I get what I want. So he's got that level of intention that he gets to push his willpower. And now he's pushed it too far, Justin. He's absolutely pushed it too far. So when he says bad boy for life, like Maya Angelou says, believe him. Believe him.
So you had a few people ask some questions in here, and so we'll try to go through some of them. Let's try to offer some.
For sure.
Somebody had asked about Dion, where I can't find your question. If you want to re-ask it, Dion had a question about Kirk. Did he, Puff and Kirk Burrows? And I don't remember exactly what the question was, but did you know Kirk Burrows? That's the question.
I knew all of those cats. Everybody from Kendu to Burrows to Woodley, Kirk Woodley. I mean, they're all of those names. Andre Harrell. Like, I was part of a small circle of first movers, and I came before a lot of them. So we networked and communicated on regular basis, whether it was just trying to be resourceful, to do events, to get them in my magazine, to get artists in my magazine, to get them on my TV show. Like, this is what I was doing back then, just very busy entertainment entrepreneur.
So some people, I'm sorry, I'm going to throw them up on
about any rift between them or anything that might have happened in the office, nothing like that.
All right, I'm going to show, I'm just going to throw some up on the screen. We'll just kind of go through them. So somebody wants to know if you've had a chance to speak with Cassie.
No, but right now, I'm so grateful to her. Without her, none of this would exist. None of these other people would be able to come out the woodwork and say what it is. She's the only person on video that everybody has been able to see the monster that he is, because it's caught on video. It wasn't manufactured. It wasn't somebody with a camera, or it wasn't scored. It was just a hotel camera. But because she spoke up, because she came out, she's empowered so many of us. I'm 100% grateful to her. I'll probably never meet her, but she's got to know that it's her, because of her, that all of these people have been able to speak out. And it's probably in the hundreds and the hundreds and the hundreds. We haven't even hit the tipping point yet. We got to remember, he did this for over 25 years. And he had enormous amounts of money, so he didn't have to go to a 9-to-5 like you and like regular people. So that's all he had to do, was whip it out, right? and he didn't do it the right way, you know. So he did life the wrong way. He's a menace to society, and so she outed him. She called his card, called his bluff, and now that's it. Like her lawsuit says it all, guys. Read deeply into her lawsuit. Listen to the words that I spoke today. If you believe me and you believe her, what you saw on video, you now have two people that are saying to you as victims. Cassie didn't speak by saying anything. She spoke by being by peopling that video. I'm speaking to you and I'm telling you that he did this to me and Lance. Do you understand? So it's like, it's not a thing for me to be able to say, hey, he did this to me. I don't have to say allegedly. I don't have to say he allegedly did that to Cassie. That might be a safe haven for people not to get sued. I don't care.
Well, that's exactly what it is. To be
I
honest
don't care. I don't care. You know, I hear people half stepping out there, like Funk Flex, by the way, who's a radio host in New York. He's coming after Shine, talking about Shine is basically saying like that Puffy threw him under the bus and that he went. I need you all to be clear that Sean Combs, the case that Little Rod has brought you all up to speed. Sean Combs bragged about buying witnesses. He bragged about having buying witnesses. How the hell did they keep J-Lo from getting on the witness stand when she was there at the club shooting? She was there in the vehicle when they got away. How is it that the defense and the prosecution, none of them called J-Lo to the stand? And it's because of the money. It's because he paid everybody off. How is it that nobody got serious time for shooting Natanya in the nose? How is it possible? Huh?
Shine did. Shine took the rap for all of it.
That is not serious time. When I say serious time, I'm talking about 20 to life. Like this was attempted. I mean, I know, look, Johnny Cochran, God bless him and all that, but he's a wizard. He made that happen. He made, and with Puffy's money, Johnny Cochran was able to leverage this case so that he could win on behalf of his client. That's what he was out here for. But this was before the technology today. That this was before the checks and balances of today. Back then, you didn't need those checks and balances. So Puffy bought his way through all of that to walk away scot-free from Natanya being hit in the nose, who, by the way, has breathing issues to this day and probably for the rest of her life. You understand? So this is like a monster. Needs to be off the streets, is in the best place possible right now for all of us.
And for those of y'all who don't know who Natanya is, and the night that we're talking about here, where
Club New York.
Club New York shooting in '99, where J-Lo was there, Puff was there, and they were there for I think it was like, you know, for an album party, like a new release party, right? And Natanya is the one who got shot in the face, and she actually came out, I think, last week. We talked about this on a show last week, how she, if it'll help the case, she's willing to have somebody go in, because the bullet's still in her face.
Fragments, right? Fragments. Yeah. In fact, then I also misspoke. It's not just me and Cassie speaking out, because Natanya has been very vocal from day one about what happened to her, right? So it's not just me and Cassie, but it's also Natanya. But the point is that there's very few of us who have been able to stand up and speak out against this dude. And it's not just this dude. It's his enablers. It's his complicit friends and family who have been supporting his BS for all these years. I need y'all to be clear. And when you fan this guy and you say, oh, let's just wait till the court says it, you know, I'll believe it when it comes out in court, or, you know, he's innocent until proven guilty. What do you want? You want a smoking gun? Like, I gave you all the smoking gun that you could possibly imagine. But when you go and you use that mentality to try to frighten people like Natanya or people like me with your little dumb comments to say, oh, why this, why that. You know, it's all right to be curious. It's all right to ask questions, to be objective, right? It's all right to do that. But at some point, you have to care about people. At some point, you have to realize that there's good and evil in life. Pick the right side. Pick the right side. Good and evil. Know that Diddy is evil. Know that his mother is complicit. And know that all of the people that support his bullshit are also complicit, whether it's Stevie J or anybody in his circle. Did you see the Piers Morgan interview where he had his old girl on there and he asked her, would you testify? Would you get on the stand and testify when it, and she says no. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? If they ask you to testify, you first of all, you have to testify. But the idea that you don't want to support or that you stand on his, because if you're not on the right side, then you are on the wrong side. And being on the right side right now is everybody versus Diddy. I don't give a F what they're saying on the other side. I stand on this side with the victims, right? And the people that are not here anymore, whether it's Tupac or Kim or the writers that have written books that are now suddenly missing, all of that. Are we forgetting Karen, who used to work at Vibe, who also, she's another one that spoke out, who didn't mind telling the story about, are we forgetting Touré, is it his cousin, who he sent to work at Bad Boy? So he is another one that spoke out, right? Maybe they're all outspoken. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, a person that has taken fire, a person that has like almost caught the L in life. You know what I mean? That's how I'm speaking. I'm speaking like I'm literally a ghost right now. I literally don't exist. None of my books exist. None of my loves of life. 2 children were sired after this event. So they don't exist. Like, none of that matters. What matters to you is singing Bad Boy for Life or jumping around and dancing to his music. Like this, come on. Being your hero. Come on. Get on the right side of life, young people, or people that are somewhat naive to entertainment. Get on the right side of this. Get on the right side. Vote. You know, we're in an election season now. Vote for me versus Diddy. Vote for me. Vote that I should live, that I should help people, that I should live my life peacefully.
What somebody asked if Lance is planning on coming forward as well. Somebody said he also might be in the chat on TikTok, and if he is, he might be, and if he is,
Lance. So Lance, you can come on TikTok, Lance.
I can get him on here if he wants.
Well, go ahead. Don't you have to request him or?
Yeah. Okay, so that's him. So Lance, do me a favor. If you can, go to my website. I'll make it really quick for you. Go to my website, JustInTheNickOfCrime.com. You'll see how to email me. If you can shoot me an email, I can get you a link onto YouTube, and then we can get you on both if you want, possibly.
I'm going to send him a text.
Or you know, if you want to, hey, you can send him the link that I sent you. Get on here. Send him that.
Okay, I'll do that now. And that'll bring him into the StreamYard, though, right?
Yeah, that'll bring him into at least StreamYard. They might not see him on TikTok unless he's got multiple devices, but it'll bring him on.
Which I doubt. Or even if he's on Android, it'll work fine.
Yeah, it doesn't matter which one he's on. So if Lance comes on, you guys might want to jump over to YouTube.
I just sent him the link. Wow. The only time he came on was by audio on Pascal's show. Shout out to Pascal.
We love
When
Pascal.
I called Lance on my phone. But yeah, if he can come on, that'd be great. Lance now works with Melly Mel. He does weightlifting and bodybuilding for him. But with him, they travel together, stuff like that. But he's also worked for my dad at the strip club. He's also he used to work with Lady Gaga. Like Lance is like the guy. You know what I mean? So it's not just my word against Diddy. It's not just me.
Real quick, Relentless. I've had people ask me in here, and I've seen a bunch of people ask in the TikTok live as well. So while we're waiting on him, people want to know where they can get your books.
He said, "I got it, but I can't get on, bro."
Let me send another link then. Here, hold on.
Try through TikTok.
Well, I can't stream here. Let me give you another link to send him. See if that works.
Okay. Oh, okay. He sent me another link. Okay, cool.
I don't know if that's the same one or not.
I don't know. I've sent it to him. Let's see if he yeah, this is like a different link. Hold on. What were you asking me? My books? Oh,
yeah, they were where they could get your book.
The QR code. The QR code I sent to you.
Oh, let me get that pulled back up.
He said he doesn't have TikTok. Oh, okay. So Lance is old school. You know what I mean?
He's on TikTok. He does have TikTok because he's in the chat here.
He says you do have TikTok, Lance, because you're in the chat. Hold on, I'm gonna send him the link to the.
Guys, we're technical difficulties, guys. Yeah, let me get your QR code put up here.
You have it? Okay, good.
I'm pretty sure I do. It's right. Here it is. They can't see it on TikTok.
Oh, I see. They see it on the YouTube. I got it.
Someone's saying that the account on TikTok is saying it's a spam account. It's a scam account. Maybe it's not him, but
all you have to do, guys, is
if he wants to come in audio wise, you can.
All you have to do is search the night Puff tried to K me. K is, it's all you have to do is Google the book title, guys, and it'll like so many articles. I did a Black Enterprise feature, and I have so much stuff on my website, and every page that I've done a story has the link to the book. Okay. And the hold on, what is Lance saying now? Yes, I'm old school, bro. So apparently he hears me. That's not a bad thing. It's just I'm old school too.
So he heard you say that, so that he's in see somewhere. Well, if he can click on the link that you sent him, he doesn't have to have StreamYard. He can it'll just allow him to come in. And if he wants
I told him.
Or you can call him if you want. And if he wants to do audio. But somebody asked if your books are on Kindle as well.
So let me tell you something, guys. So major publishing, I'm through traditional publishing and independent. So my big deal that I told y'all about, to put a book out in major publishing takes almost a year. Okay, it takes almost a year. When you go independent, you could put a book out today. Do you understand? And so for me, that's where my head was at in December. So I have the link up on Stan Store. But again, you can all you got to do is hit the QR code, or you can he says, yes, I just call me because this motherfucker frustrated. He said this is frustrating. Okay, I'll call him. Okay. So let's see here. Here you go.
What's up, bro?
Hey, Lance, what's up? What's up?
Oh my God, I'm trying to get on. I had another phone trying to get on and I can't get on.
Wow, that's crazy. One of these days.
Yeah, I know.
But so hey, so this is Lance. Lance was in the vehicle with me when Puffy pulled up on me. Did you have a question for him?
No, they were asking him if he wanted to come on. I don't know if it was him in the chat on TikTok.
Well, are you in the chat on TikTok, Lance?
I think I am, man. I don't know. I'm on the chat.
Is his?
I'm Lance.
Yeah.
Is his handle Night?
What did you ask me?
Is his handle on Tik? Is his handle? Is it Night?
Is your handle on TikTok Night?
Yes.
Yes, that's him.
Okay, so that is him then. Okay.
So are you able to pull him up?
How many? I don't know how many followers. If he's got under 300, I don't think I can pull him in audio.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
But I can maybe.
So
Does he?
he says sometimes if you have like under 300 followers or whatever, it's not possible.
Yeah.
They don't let you go live.
No worries.
Can they hear me?
Yeah, they can hear you. I got the mic to the phone.
All right. No, I was gonna say when I was listening, there's like another trigger. Yeah, 3 triggers. I was involved in 2 of them. Remember, he came into the club with a bunch of people. At one of the, you had one with Brownstone, Michael Jackson's old group. We were at Capri. He showed up with a bunch of people. We couldn't let them in, and they called you to the door. So again, no matter what was going on,
oh yeah,
like you didn't let Puffy in.
Right. So yeah, he's talking about what he's talking about is there were a couple of occasions where Puffy was trying to come into my events, and I had to turn him away because we were sold out, or we had way too many people. So it was like disrespectful and he would have 10 people with him, and so it was disrespectful to do that, right? So thank you for clearing me up on that, Lance. So yeah, he might have also been triggered by that, just the idea that, oh, he can't get into my events. Oh, I'm on stage talking about his situation, all of that. So Lance, go ahead.
Yeah, that's one. And just to clarify one other thing, because everything you said was true, except for the street. It wasn't Fifth Avenue, it was Broadway.
Well, Broadway is where we went through the one light, the red light. Yeah.
No, but it started on.
It started in
down the block.
Started in Herald Square. I'm very clear about that.
He tried to cut you off, and I snatched the wheel to make you go the other way. Because if I didn't snatch that wheel, we'd have been stuck.
Right. But go ahead and tell them. From your words. Don't let me interrupt you. Go ahead and tell them from your words what happened.
So I noticed. Okay, from when it first started, we came out the club. I didn't see Puffy. I saw the driver. Because remember, I'm on the passenger side. The Zuzu Truth was so high up. So I saw somebody looking at whatever. I didn't care. I'm looking at the people dancing. You pull out. You're driving. I'm noticing all these cars look like they're following you. What the hell is going on? Then Puffy pulls up along my side, and he goes, yo, bitch. He must have said that to you before, and now he's saying it again. And I looked at him, and his driver looked at you and said, I know this punk ain't talking to me. You said, what's up, Puffy? And I said, Puffy, what the fuck is a Puffy? Like, you talking shit, your name is Puffy. I don't get it. You got a fur coat on. It was around September, late or early October. Y'all got fur coats on and stuff, and you talking crap. When you turn the corner, that's when they try to cut you off. He jumps out the car. I never really got out of the car. I was about to. You was about to. When I realized, like, all these cars that was behind them, these guys were getting out the car. And I remember saying, this is not a good time because I'm not strapped. That's when the gunshots came out, snatched you back in the car. Because the car, remember, it was right with the stick shift. Because you had the car on, but you had it, you wasn't in gear. You put it in gear and took off, and they went behind us shooting at us. Now, I know the one thing you didn't say was one of the bullet holes was in your car. And it was by me. It went through the windshield of the passenger side. So when you got to 41st Street, you snatched the wheel. Mind you, you've been riding on the street. Dude, you could have hit people, but at nighttime when the car, there was nobody there. On the sidewalks and everything else, went down that one-way street on 41st Street. They almost crashed trying to get to you. And then you turned, I think you went 2 blocks. Mind you, both lights. You didn't break one light. You broke many red lights. Then you turned left. Then we went down the correct street. Then you went to the West Side Highway. And that's when we got to 125th Street. That's when Rico got up. I thought he was dead.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
And then remember, now I took your car because now they knew you. Now remember, I said, take my car. I'll take your car because they know you are. They don't know me. They don't know where I live. Remember? And I was driving your car to work with a bullet hole, and every day I'm looking at this like, yeah, I want to get back at this guy. Then what happened to you? You know, the other stuff happened to you. We never got it. But I'm gonna say this, and I gotta find it, Gil. I gotta find this. The next week, Puffy was getting an award at the Copacabana. I remember I cut all my hair off, wore fake glasses, had a suit on. Nobody knew who I was, just get to remember me. And I wrote down every car that I remember, the license plate, and I have it downstairs. I moved like 5 times since then, but I know I got it. I got to find that thing, because I'm telling you, when you give that, you're going to open that up, because it's a sealed envelope. If anything ever happened to you, not me, but you, it was going to the police. So that's proof, because this ain't no lie. You know, and everything was going on. I'm so happy it happened to him. This dude tried to, you know, like I said, the night Puffy tried to kill me, tried to kill us.
Yeah.
Lance, let me, if he can hear me, I want to ask him the same question I asked you. What was going?
Hold on, Lance. He has a question. Lance, go ahead. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask you this same question that I had asked him, which is, when you heard about the raids on his house, the bi-coastal raids on his homes and his arrest, what was going through your mind after, you know, having gone through this all those years ago?
I'm gonna tell you right now. One, it's not like I wasn't happy. It was more like I felt good. Like, really, because part of me goes, if Puffy was more like Gilmore. Gilmore will be just as rich as he is, because Gilmore is more like, he's that guy like, yeah, let's do this together, let's do this together. Puffy doesn't like competition. See? So he cut Gilmore out. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I look at him like, I'm doing security for Superstar Magazine. You just destroyed our magazine. And you took money out of my pocket. You took money out of his pocket. You know what I'm saying? I mean, mind you, not saying we're doing great. We're doing good for, you know, for our lives now, but where Gilmore was going, he's supposed to be where Puffy is, but better. So I'm gonna say. So I was happy. I'm like I said, I don't want to say happy. I felt good about it. Like, yeah, he deserves that. I don't care. I have friends told me, and I'm gonna go on this to say, you know how you know, they want to railroad a black man and everything. I didn't care. I'm like, this man tried to kill me and my boy. For what? Because you didn't like what was said to you? You didn't like what was going on and it was all true? Please. I'm like, now look, not this time. Nope, not this time.
Well, I'll say this: it ain't railroading when you have 300 people coming out against you. You're way past that at that point.
Yeah, man. And be honest, if I'm correct, it was 5 carloads of guys. It was 5 carloads. I remember the gold. It's not gold, champagne colored Mercedes Benz. If I'm correct, it's a 505 2-seat, the 2-door convertible. They were
like
in.
the SL?
Yes, and I remember, like I said, I'm watching everything. I just don't watch you talk up. What else? Also, these other cars behind them, and when we turn, instead of them keep going or turning, they all stop. Puffy jumps out, looking at Gilmore. Come on, Puff, come on. So waving his hand like, come on, for him to get out the car. But he kept looking to his left. So I looked to his left. I saw all these cars. They like jostling in the street, and they getting out. I'm like, 3 against like 20? 5 cars. And they all had like 3 or 4 people in it. No. And then the gunshots, come on.
It's amazing that he would risk, everything. Even I mean, how untouchable he thought he was even back then, to beef over something so like stupid for him to beef over.
Exactly what you just said. When you start getting big, you become untouchable. That's why the stuff with the baby oil and all the stuff, doing all the crazy stuff, because you felt you can get away with it. Look, mind you, let me, one more thing. He's a billionaire. Someone said, well, he's only worth $600 million. I don't care. He's worth that much money. Yeah. You feel untouchable. You can do anything. You can buy people. If I'm correct, didn't he offered $50 million so he don't go to jail? And they said no. So they really want him. And I'm glad. there's a lot of people. You did too much dirt, and we can't have that. $50 million. Didn't he offer $50 million?
Yeah, he did. He offered $50 million to give up his passport to try to sell his plane, and a few other conditions for house arrest. Wouldn't have any women over. Wouldn't have any of that stuff. And they said they were like, no. But apparently,
no. Real quick, they didn't
no.
about it. No. And he's a flight, so whatever. No.
But supposedly he's getting a third chance at a bail hearing. I think next week or in early November. But he's not going to get it.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say that because like I was listening to Gilmore and I'm like, well, it's like the trigger. It was more than just the Death Row T-shirt thing, because that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. That's what that was.
Out of curiosity, do you remember about what month this was that all this went down?
It was, I know, I think it was like 96. I think it was just out there. It was like 96. I said, so we're talking about, like I said, almost.
He didn't say the year. He said the month.
I'm just trying to figure out if it was before or after Hit 'Em Up came out.
That was around September, October.
Oh, there you go. So Hit 'Em Up would have been out and he would have been on edge.
It wasn't cold, if I'm correct. See, now the thing is, I've been trying to look it up, but remember, I know if I find that paper, I have it dated. So it's a week before I did that with the license plates and everything else, which I got to find it. Like I said, I moved and it's in a box somewhere. But what I will say is if you could find out when Puffy got an award at the Copacabana, it happened a week before that. And that's what I've been trying to look, can't find anything. If anybody knows anything about the Copacabana back in the day when Puffy got an award, there was a big award ceremony with a couple of people, and Puffy was one of them. Because Gilmore told me, yo, you got to go with me, and I went with him to make sure nobody messed with him. And just to let you know, I bumped a couple of them. Just to let you know, I'm not a big guy. I'm just going to tell you. But everybody knows that I can handle myself. And I was bumping every one of those guys that I saw at this award ceremony, looking for one of them to say something or do something. But as far as I'm concerned, you're all a bunch of punks because you didn't do a damn thing on this little dude. I'm 5'7.5". I weighed 185 pounds. But nobody did anything. Together, yeah, you guys want to jump on people. One-on-one, y'all wasn't doing it. I remember that. I told you, Gilmore, I wanted, like you said, you wanted blood, I wanted blood. Because like you said, the police wasn't going to do anything. 1 o'clock in the morning, number 1, 2, look how they treated black people back then. Sorry, that's just how it was.
No, it's how it was. I said it. Yeah, in the 90s, you as a black person, you couldn't go to the police. They were just as bad.
Yep. Wasn't happening. You know? And I've known Gilmore I didn't realize how many years I've known you, Gil, but like I said, I worked with your dad and I started working with you and all the other people and Harlem Nights and I've done a lot for myself. At the same time, you were my dude, man. You even did an article on me in the magazine. I always remember that.
Yep, I remember.
Lance, are you planning on coming forward too with all this stuff going on and filing a lawsuit against him also? Or if you're able to say that?
If Gilmore's here, I'm with Gilmore. That's all I know. That's my boy.
I bet.
I also shared his information with Busby, so I'm sure there'll be further communication. But if there's any resolution, we want it. To be honest with you,
I just want you to listen. I just know how I look at it and how I see it. No matter what, where this man was, he took money out of your mouth. He sat back and cut you off. You gave him ideas, and he took your ideas, and then he tried to get rid of you. Think about it. He tried to get rid of you.
Yeah.
Why? This is back then. When everybody's talking about this stuff with Diddy was like in 2005 and 10 and 13. This happened in the 90s.
Right.
In the 90s. He just started. So when they say, oh, well, he wasn't always like that. Yes, he was.
Yeah, he was.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
That's not, was it 19? I'm telling you, it's going to clear up. If I find out that I dated it and everything else, then it's a sealed manila envelope. I said, if anything ever happens to you, just go to the police. And I see nothing ever happened to you, so I never used it.
Well, thanks,
when
Lance.
When I moved up here, I know I got it. So it's flying here somewhere.
All right, Lance. Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
You got it, my brother.
Appreciate you too, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's getting late, and so and I think it'd be great to have you back, and even Lance if he wants to come on, and we give him more time and don't try to like get it to the last minute. But like I said, for people, can you, if you don't mind, show the QR code again for people, and you can also go to his website, which is relentlessaaron.net. Are your books available on your website? I think they are.
Yeah, you can go there. I mean, honestly, all you have to do is Google the title of the book, y'all. All you got to do is Google the title of the book. The Night Puff Tried to Kill Me. It's like it's like easy. Google is your best friend. Stop tap dancing. Just go right to it. When you buy a cup of coffee from me, because that's what this is. If you buy a cup of coffee from me, it's gonna help me fight this dude. It's gonna help me fight this dude. It's gonna help me get to the next level. And I appreciate you so much just for helping me move forward. You as well, Justin. I mean, like I said, I'm the only person with a book. The other two have been taken out somehow, some way. I don't know how, but they're all suddenly gone. But yes, all you have to do is scan this QR code, or you can Google "The Night Puff Tried to Kill Me" by D. Gilmore, and it'll bring you right to it. You can't lose there. And also, the link is in my bio here on TikTok. It's everywhere on my Facebook, on my Instagram. I'm on YouTube. All you gotta do is look up the title of it, folks. I'm everywhere. Like savoir faire.
I was going to ask him. I forget what it was, but no, I mean, I appreciate you sharing your story and giving me the opportunity, to do it on the platform here. And I'm sorry that what you guys went through.
You're amazing, man. You're one of the few people there's probably a load of them, but you're the one of the people I've seen that have actually gone down the rabbit hole, unafraid, unapologetic, and and you have your audience because of it. So I'm only a mustard seed in your world, but you are a very big part of the growth that you need when you're trying to do a grassroots campaign, and you're not using any kind of big financial resources to do it. And I've always respected those people because that's where I came from. I told you, I don't know if we were on air when I said this. I told you about my father and his stores.
Mm-hmm.
And so my father and his stores, my father did all that on one leg. He lost his leg at age 17 in a baseball accident. And by age 21, he got a prosthesis. And then he had to get back up to speed in his life. And eventually he had the first store, and then more stores and more businesses. My dad was resourceful. He also sired six kids. So he did all of that with one leg, right? So what I take away from that, and he left us in 2001 from COVID. He lived to 91. What I take away from that is that I am like the fruit didn't fall far from the tree. I am here supposed to be as resourceful as I can with my acumen, with my relationships, with what I know and my experience, and I'm supposed to bring it forth to bless other people, right? That's what my dad did, and now I'm here to do the same thing. So this is who I am, guys. I don't do parties and throw baby oil on people. I don't, I'm like a normal dude, So I appreciate anybody who's able to help me get to larger platforms to tell my story. Even if you can't afford the book or a cup of coffee, you can go and like on a video or share on a video. I'm on everywhere as Relentless Aaron.
They can also follow you on TikTok too, which, I mean, if you're in the live right now, you just click on his name and give him a follow, because he's he's sharing more. Where are you at right now? Let me see. He's at 4272 on followers. You know, there's 1,100 people in here. There's no reason we can't get him to 5,000 before this live's over.
And right now I write books for other people, as well as I create animations and cartoons and comic books and children's books. So hopefully I can help you with your children's book and getting it, and also the series of children's books from your initial idea. So there's all kinds of possibilities and opportunities, and this is just me being resourceful, and it's me sort of, you know, to whom much is given, and these are my experiences in life, and unfortunately, but thank God I got away alive, but unfortunately I had that little blip in my life where, you know, someone tried to take my life, and coincidentally it's him, and honestly nobody would still know about it. I probably wouldn't still have dropped the book in December if all of these victims, all of these people hadn't been coming forth through all the months, because it's telling me, yo, tell your story, get it out there, support other victims. This is who I am, like, from my heart. So I appreciate you, man. I thank you. Like, I have no words. I'm just so grateful to people like you and others who are saying, hey, I support this guy. Let me push him forward. Let me push him forward. I believe in him. That's all we need, is for you to believe in us at the end of the day.
And yeah, and I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate you giving, you know, me the opportunity to share your story.
And Justin, you know people, man. All your people know people. Tag Chris Cuomo, tag Stephen A. Smith, tag Nancy Grace. Let's go. You saw me on Times Square and in New York and in front of the courthouse. This is me. Let's go. Let's get it up.
I can't make any promises, but I know I have Ashley Banfield's number in my phone, so I can reach out.
Banfield, yes, I saw that name on
News Nation. Yeah.
Yes, please. Come on, everybody. Get it up. Let's go. I need all the help we can get. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. No,
I appreciate you too. Well, everybody, you know, go, you know, again, if you're on TikTok, let's see where you're at real quick. You are up to 4366. So you've gone over 100 since we told them to do it. So people want to know your name. It's Relentless Aaron. You can click his name. It's right next to me. He's hosting, you know, his version. That's why he's live here. For anybody who came in late, if you're watching, because again, we're streaming on 4 different platforms right now. If you're TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, this live is recorded on YouTube, so you can go watch it. If you came in late while it's live, you can rewind back to the beginning and see the entire story. It's a heck of a story. It deserves to be heard. You know, Relentless's voice deserves to be heard. It needs to be known. So it's just another, and I think that what people need to truly understand too about this story, it's not just, I mean, it is obviously, it's about how, you know, from very early on, you're talking 96 when this all happened, you know, beef starting in 91, 92. In 96, him trying to take, you know, his life and over something so minuscule, something so stupid for him to want to do this over. And I think that what it really goes to show is the type of person that you've been dealing with since then. And what does money, what does fame, what does constantly getting away with things do? You know, and it just gets worse and worse. So I think that when you look at it from that perspective, remember, you know, as he said, if this had happened and Puff was successful, nobody would know his story. He would have been a cold case in New York and you'd never know who he was at all. How many more people are like that he was successful with? And I think that's the question you need to start asking. You know, if you're not already asking, how many more did it become when he became successful? How many people, you know, were girls or even guys that he was picking up on colleges that, you know, were, you know, for lack of a better term, nobodies in his world, nobody that you would know their name, but their families know their name, but they've disappeared because he shipped them off overseas or had them taken out, things that he's threatened to do according to these lawsuits. You know, I think that that's one of the pivotal things about this story is because he's so, you know, Relentless Aaron is so early as a victim or a potential victim of survivor of Diddy. I don't want to use the term victim because you're not a victim, you're a survivor.
Thank you so much.
But he's I think that it really goes to show who he's been for 30 years. So that's what I got. That's what I got.
That's major, man. Thank you so much. Like I said, your audience, whether you come in tonight or tomorrow, I just ask for your assistance to help me push the envelope, to help me get. I won't let you down. I'm going to continue to fight, keep my foot on this guy's neck. If the U.S. attorneys need my information, they can have it. This is not what they call snitching. I wasn't in crime with him. Snitching is when you do crimes together and one of the parties decides, hey, I'm going to tell on the other. That's like ratting and snitching. This is more like informing the public. I want to inform you that this monster needs to be kept off the streets. And it's more like whistleblowing, if you want to put it that way. I don't care. I don't care what you call it, because you weren't in my shoes that night. Your life wasn't on the line. All you care about is, are you still getting the bag today? And are your relationships still working? And, you know, I get it. I'm not mad at you. Do what you do. But I have to do what I do. I have to stand up on my truth. And I'm not mad at anybody for any decisions they make, pro or con. I know I was going off earlier and talking about good and evil, but you also have one other option, to stay out of it altogether. Just shut up and sit down and let karma do its thing.
Well, I think it's working. I think karma is doing its thing right now. Well, listen, would you? I hope that if you're okay with it, I know people are going to have questions after all of this. I know it's getting late because I know for you it's 12:30 your time and it's 11:30 mine.
My day is just beginning, by the way.
Well, fair enough. Well, I have a 5-year-old that'll keep me up early. So, but I'd love to have you back if you're up for that.
Oh, sure. I'm thinking because I was probably around the 120, 130, 140th person Busby brought on. So I probably have another month or two before he gives me some, some real hard advice and says, hey, listen, I don't want you to do any more. But the other thing is, they're about to drop a big doc that I'm a part of. I'm not going to say the name of it, but yeah, so maybe then, not for nothing, I'm popular for all the wrong reasons right now, but this is the life I've been given, and I have to stand on my truth. And so, yeah, I don't mind talking about it. I don't know what I could possibly say, except I could definitely lend some angles to all that you see that's going on. I mean, I understand how he got to where he is. I get it. I understand how he hacked his way to getting there. I get it, right? I also understand, I'm from Mount Vernon, he's from Mount Vernon. I understand the state of mind of a Black man coming up in that atmosphere. I've also hit the big time in terms of my books and who I am on this planet, my skills. So I've been to the highest of highs in terms of the mansions and never to a Diddy party for sure, but been to the big parties, been to the, in the quiet rooms with the head of HBO and all of these things. Of course, I'm a writer for 50 Cent. So like, I get it. I get the industry from the top down. And so I'm a voice out here, and I don't mind sharing my acumen, my seasoning.
Well, I think be glad you didn't go to a Diddy party. So be glad that you didn't get invited to one of those. That's not a bad thing. But no, I'll reach out to you.
Funny, not funny, right?
Yeah, funny, yeah. But I actually have an idea for another show, and I'll talk to you about it. That I think would be another good way to get your story out there, and possibly some others. But yeah, I'll reach out to you right after this, and we'll do that. But everybody, here's the thing. I appreciate you guys coming to listen. This is not going to be the last time we have Relentless Aaron on. You can go check out his website, relentlessaaron.net. You can purchase his books. He had the QR code, everything. But if you go, look, here's the thing. You can Google his name. You can Google the book title, which
you can't miss me.
The Night Puck Tried to Kill Me, right? That's the title.
That's the title of the book, right?
And so that being said, help support him, because he's got I'm not going to give your location away, but for safety purposes, but he's got to fly to New York to go stand in front of this courthouse, which he plans to do every time dude is back in court. If you are on TikTok, follow him. If you're watching elsewhere and you want to go follow him later, it is at Relentless Aaron. And at the same time, I'd be remiss. Follow me too. If you're on YouTube or TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, for the first time, hit that follow button. I appreciate it. My website is JustInTheNickOfCrime.com. I have books as well, but they're not about Diddy. They're children's books. But that being said, man, I can't thank you enough for coming on. You've been a phenomenal guest, and I think we need to do it again.
We got
a lot
man.
more
I
Diddy
appreciate
stuff.
you. And thank you to all your followers. And I see some purchases coming through. Thank you so much. We appreciate you so much. We're humbled and just grateful to be alive, to be honest with you. In this day and age, life is so fleeting. All you got to do is be on Twitter. And you could see literally life leaving just like that. People don't have any, they don't care. They're doing things that they just don't care about their lives and about the lives of others. So we just need to be humble and for sure do the right thing. Just be good to others. All right, peace. Thank you so much. Appreciate
Thank you, man. Hey, you have a great night, man. I appreciate
All
you.
right, man.
All right, good night, everybody.